Sicily's busiest airport is closed, not delayed, closed, with hundreds of passengers still inside the terminal, in the busiest travel week of the year. The reason is 30 kilometers to the north, and it has been erupting for 10 days without stopping. Mount Etna began this eruption on the 6th of August. By the 13th, it had run for 7 straight days, a duration Sicilian volcanologists say the mountain has not shown since the 1970s. Today, it is still going. Between last Thursday and Wednesday of this week, Catania handled 1,974 scheduled flights. More than a third of them were canceled. Another 600 were diverted to other airports. Airport authorities have called it the worst disruption they have seen in more than 20 years. But here is the detail that tells the real story. When Italy's civil protection minister was asked whether the airport could survive a volcano on its doorstep, he did not defend the airport. He said the opposite, that it is not the volcano that is out of place, but the airport. That is a government minister saying, in the middle of a crisis, that the infrastructure is in the wrong place, not the mountain. To understand how a routine summer eruption became the shutdown of an entire Sicilian travel week, you have to follow 2 things at once: what is coming out of the mountain, and which way the wind is blowing. This did not begin in August. It began on the 1st of January, when a fissure opened in the Valle del Bove, the huge collapse scar on Etna's eastern flank, and lava started to emerge at around 2,000 meters. In June, a drone survey by Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology found something more concerning than the lava. A system of fractures that had formed on the eastern flank over the previous months had not stopped. It had propagated, spreading northeast and southeast across the mountain. On the 26th of June, a new fissure opened near the base of the northeast crater at around 3,000 meters, feeding a flow into the upper Valle del Bove. Then, in early July, came the first warning of what the summer would actually look like. Ash from the Voragine crater built an eruption column roughly 4 kilometers high. Aviation authorities raised Etna's alert to red. 188 flights were canceled at Catania. That episode lasted 3 days. The alert came back down to orange. The airport reopened, and Sicily moved on. On the 30th of July, the Voragine crater produced a paroxysm, a sustained lava fountain, and by evening, a lateral fracture had opened alongside it, feeding a second flow. And on the night of the 6th of August, it happened again. Another fountain, another red aviation alert, another closure at Catania. The difference this time is that it never stopped. Volcanic ash is not smoke. It is pulverized rock and volcanic glass, and it does not burn away. Inside a jet engine, the air reaching the combustion chamber is hotter than the melting point of that glass. The ash softens, sticks to the turbine, and cools into a hard coating that chokes the airflow. Engines can flame out. They have, on multiple occasions, in commercial aviation. That is why airspace closes on the basis of where a cloud is, not on how dramatic it looks. And it is why the direction of the wind matters as much as the size of the eruption. For most of this eruption, the wind over Sicily has been southerly. It has taken the plume off the Voragine crater and pushed it directly down the southern flank, across the exact 30 kilometers that separate the summit from Catania's runways. The director of the observatory that monitors Etna has been blunt about it. The lava is not the emergency. The continuous plume is, and it is the wind, not the volcano, that decided where it went. It went further than Sicily. The ash from this eruption has been carried as far as North Africa. Catania Airport normally moves at least 40,000 passengers a day. In August, that is the machinery the entire Sicilian tourist economy runs on. On Friday, the airport announced flights would remain suspended until at least 2 in the afternoon on Saturday. By Thursday evening, roughly 300 passengers were still waiting to be bused to a different airport entirely. Italy's national rail operator added 6 extra services on the Palermo-Messina-Catania line to absorb people who could no longer fly. And now the part almost nobody stranded in that terminal knows. Under European air passenger rules, you are normally owed compensation when an airline severely disrupts your travel. But a volcanic eruption is classified as an extraordinary circumstance, something outside the airline's control. Which means that for most of the people sleeping in Catania Airport this week, the airline is not legally obliged to pay them anything. Rebooking, yes. Care and assistance while they wait, yes. Compensation for the ruined week, no. That is the quiet cost of building a major international airport 30 kilometers downwind of the most active volcano in Europe. What makes this eruption unusual is not its violence. It is that Etna is doing several different things at once, in several different places. At the summit, the Voragine crater is running explosive activity and lava fountains, with a near-continuous ash emission on top. On the 10th of August, monitoring cameras recorded volcanic bombs falling across the summit area. Below that, on the eastern flank, effusive vents have opened along the northern wall of the Valle del Bove, at 2,750 meters, at 2,090, and at 1,900. Those vents are feeding a lava field, and by the 12th of August, the most advanced front had descended to around 1,365 meters, near a locality called Rocca Capra, inside the Valle del Bove. That is the number that matters, and it is the number that is being misreported online. The Valle del Bove is a natural containment basin, a 5 by 10 kilometer amphitheater open to the east. Almost everything Etna erupts on this flank goes into it. Volcanologists have been consistent. As of now, the flows do not threaten inhabited areas. But 2 signals in the monitoring data are worth watching more than the lava. The first is the ground itself. Below 2,900 meters, the flank has continued to crack. Fractures that were already there have been joined by new ones. That is the mountain, adjusting to what is moving inside it. The second is tremor. Volcanic tremor is the continuous vibration produced by magma and gas, forcing their way through the conduit. And on the 12th of August, it was not just high. It was on a clear, gradual upward trend, with its source centered beneath the Voragine crater at roughly 3,000 meters above sea level, which is why the observatory's cautious wording is worth repeating exactly. By the morning of the 12th, both the lava output and the ash emission had decreased significantly. The tremor had not. High tremor, with falling output, means the system is still charged. There is one more element of this crisis that has nothing to do with geology. While the airport was closing, the eruption was pulling an exceptional number of people up the mountain. Locals call Etna Her Majesty, and a fountaining Voragine at night is one of the most spectacular things in Europe. Roads and footpaths leading to the viewpoints have been clogged with cars and with people arriving unprepared and after dark. This is the failure mode that turns a contained eruption into a body count. Not the lava, but the audience. A volcano that is behaving predictably in a containment basin can still kill people who are standing in the wrong place at 2 in the morning with a phone in their hand. Sicilian guides have spent this week saying the same thing to anyone who will listen. Go with an authorized volcanological guide or watch it from a distance. So here is where it stands. Europe's tallest and most active volcano is in the 10th day of an eruption of a length not seen in half a century. 4 vents are feeding a lava field into a containment basin. The tremor beneath the summit is still rising. And 30 kilometers downwind, Sicily's busiest airport is shut, with no legal compensation owed to the people inside it. Nothing in the monitoring data says a town is in danger tonight. Everything in it says, this is not over. We are tracking this one daily. If the tremor keeps climbing, or the wind turns, the next update comes fast.